Hey everybody, thank you for downloading this episode of We Got This with Mark and Hal. We have very exciting news for you.
That's right. We are headed to Philadelphia, Hal.
Yes, a return engagement Saturday, June 23rd at FIT, which is the Philadelphia Improv Theater. 2 shows. There's a 5 p.m. and an 8 p.m. They will be different.
That's right. Why is it called FIT and not PIT if it's the Philadelphia Improv Theater?
Because that's what we do. We turn PHs into Fs, like Philadelphia. Should it be an F? Who knows? Maybe that's what we'll decide. Maybe we'll decide, should Philadelphia be spelled with an F?
I'm really excited about it. Have you been to Philadelphia before?
I've heard about it. Is it good?
So come join us. If you are on the East Coast, come join us in Philadelphia for our 2 shows. We're going to have an early show and a late show. We got some great surprises planned. It's going to be a lot of fun. We hope to see all the people of the world there.
Yes. Get your tickets at bit.ly/WeGotPhilly, Philly, 2018. That's how you do it. New York, Delaware, New Jersey, Philadelphia area. Even if you're in Lancaster, get on your horse and buggy and drive it on over. I don't know how you're listening to this. Is it Rumspringa? Anyway, come to the show with your odd beard. We won't judge you. That's the one place you won't be judged for that odd beard.
It will be odd. We'll just go, "Aw."
Yeah, we'll be odd. Yeah, exactly. So come see the show. For now, enjoy this episode of We Got This with Mark and Hal. Hello, I'm Hal Lublin.
And I'm Mark Gagliardi.
Since the dawn of humanity, one issue has gone unsettled. With the fate of the world in the balance, we're here to settle once and for all.
Best talking dog movie.
That's right. Don't worry, everyone. We got this.
Podcast should have a theme song. Podcast should not have a theme song. Yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. They sound good. Yeah, but people are just going to skip past it. You know what? You're right. We got this.
Speak. Mark.
Hi, Hal. Hey. Like this?
Good boy.
Oh, thanks.
Good boy.
Where's my treat?
Good boy.
Where I was promised
You're
a treat.
getting to spend time with me and with our guest,
Dave Nadelberg.
Mr. Mortified.
Do you prefer that nickname?
Is that the worst name you've ever been given?
No, but it's delight. I don't know.
Mr. Mortified sounds like a Marvel villain.
Sometimes I'm called like diary guy, which is weird.
Just like by people, hey, you're that diary guy.
Yeah, or mortified guy. Like So, I mean, but it's better than like other names that you could call. Actually, at my answer machine, if you call it, says, please leave a message for Dave or David or whatever weird nickname you know me by. And I think it's because my last name is Nadelberg, which is sort of infinitely nicknameable for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Where I'm like Noodle Dude to, I don't know.
Noodle Dude?
I'm
Wouldn't have picked that one out at all.
Knuckle Butt, like whatever. Yeah. Just someone's going to make something up.
Noodle Dude Knuckle Butt.
The new cop show.
They're the new Rizzoli and Isles.
Yes.
Super popular.
That was the working title for Rizzoli and
Isles. Well, we're not here today to talk about Rizzoli and Isles.
No.
We're here today to talk about talking dog movies.
This was suggested.
Yes.
Let me just throw this out there before we get too deep into it. K-Play Bass from Reddit. I assume
Mommy played tenor. Me and little brother would join right in there. Sorry, it's a old Johnny Cash tune.
So thank you to K-Play Bass. Also, before we get into it, because I think Mortified is a brilliant concept. For people who are not familiar, this has been a book, stage show, podcast, television show. It's in cities all around the U.S.
It's now a bath soap for you.
It's available in a bath soap. Finally.
You can rub mortification all over your vaguely hairy bodies or hairy bodies, whatever, or hairless bodies.
Let's be honest. The hairy bodies.
Yeah.
At least at this table.
I have a whole case
all of us.
I've dehydrated Mortified in case I get hungry. I just keep it as a snack.
Oh, that's very good.
Morta jerky.
Morta jerky.
Yeah.
Tell us,
turkey.
Please explain Mortified for anybody out there who's not aware of what it is.
Okay. I'll let Mark explain Mortified Jerky, but I will. So Mortified is this storytelling project that has been around for 15 years somehow. And it's where adults share their most embarrassing childhood writings, often diary entries, love letters, lyrics, whatever you wrote when you were 14 and thought you were a genius. And you share that in front of total strangers. And and so we now run it started as a stage show. It now runs in 20 cities worldwide, in 5 different languages. And then we have podcasts and we have a series you can watch if this sounds if you want to hear it, you can hear the Mortified podcast, or you can see our new series The Mortified Guide, which is on Netflix, which, if you don't know, is that internet thing that has a new show coming out every hour.
Yeah.
So that if you wind up having a show that appears on Netflix, like The Mortified Guide, you'll be excited and then you'll be completely drowned out like a minute later because, you know, there's it's just an avalanche there.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Mortified is one of those shows that, if you get a chance to see it live, go see it live. Because I still recall fondly my favorite Mortified story I ever heard, which was, or my favorite piece of writing from Mortified.
Okay.
Was, I believe, he was in 7th or 8th grade when he started writing letters to Mr. Belvedere.
Oh, that's right.
And went up on stage and just read these letters he had written to Mr. Belvedere. And it was hilarious and poignant and amazing. And then the band plays more music, the live music.
And then I think we have that as an episode of the Mortified podcast. I think we did.
Mr. Belvedere guy?
Yeah, Steve Skaya.
Man,
and then
so funny.
Wow.
And then we bring in a special guest star.
You didn't.
We have, I believe you know Bryce, right? Bryce.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that you
we
brought in
resurrected
Mr. Belvedere.
Chris Hewitt.
Well remembered.
Bob Uecker just shows up at the shows anyway. He's always there, so we're halfway to
we just get dead 80s celebrities to show. No, but we
Did you
got
say Bryce Pinkham?
Bryce Beckham, who is the little boy from Mr. Belvedere.
Yes.
Who I would imagine you guys know. He's hilarious.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And anyway, he winds up sort of surprising the audience. Spoiler alert. He winds up surprising and appearing in the piece. It's very touching and funny at the same time.
I love it.
Yeah, it's such a good show.
Well, speaking of things that are touching and funny at the same time.
Oh boy.
I know. That was a real easy segue, you guys. I'm
It wasn't
really
a
proud
reach
of
at
this.
all.
Not at all.
It was
because
good.
that's literally what these movies are designed to do.
Yeah.
What movies are those?
Please.
Talking dog movies. Why did you want to do the talking dog topic?
Oh yeah.
Well, you sent me a list of here's a bunch
You
of
did this to us.
Here's a bunch of things to debate, and I was like, do I want to talk? And this was the one that I tried to write a talking dog movie.
That is what I was hoping you would say.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to hear about this.
Was that like the idea that popped in your head? Did somebody come to you and say, "Listen, I need a talking dog"?
So I moved to Los Angeles.
Wait, get your diary out.
Yeah.
You're mortified.
Oh, this is great.
Adult
This is fun. So I moved to Los Angeles in my, right after college, my early 20s. I'm now 43. And, you know how you like, I'm going to write like this cool, thing to the system and they're going to discover me. And then that doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And then you're an artist and you're like, whatever you do. In my case, I was a writer at the time. And then I'll do this I'm going to at some point I moved to the idea to make it, you should just do what sells. Mm-hmm. And I think every writer or musician or whoever has these varying ideas of go the indie route. No, that's not working. Go the mainstream route. No. And nothing, you don't have control over much of it is what I've learned. But so I had this idea, this very cynical idea that, they always make talking dog movies. I had this idea for a talking dog movie and, called Pooch. And
Pooch, by the way, is the movie that someone is walking out of in a fictional film that has someone leaving a movie theater.
This is true. So I had this idea for a talking dog movie called Pooch, and it was kind of a cool idea, but I think it was just very cynical where I was like, to heck with these movies that are I was very condescending towards, how hard it is actually to even write, I don't know, some Benji Lassie type movie. Not that those are talking dog movies, but,
not yet.
Not yet.
Someone
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think I was a big fan of Air Bud. I'm a legitimate fan of Air Bud, directed by Charles Martin Smith, who you might know from Starman and Never Cry Wolf. Somehow he directed that.
Oh my God.
He directed it. Anyway, Air Bud's a really good movie. the sequels eventually have talking dogs, but the original
Yeah, the original he doesn't talk. He just
he slams that dunk. Yeah.
And then Airbud Golden Receiver where he plays football.
And then there's Karate Dog. There's a whole
Seventh Inning
bunch.
Fetch.
No, it's Karate Dog is a talking dog movie. Is it not?
Probably is, but I think it's also an Airbud sequel.
Is in that world?
It's in the Airbud
buddies.
universe, the Airbud cinematic universe.
Wait until the Infinity War Airbud edition.
That's the Olympics.
Yeah.
It's basically the Olympics.
When I lick my crotch, half of the cats will disappear from the universe.
Okay, so Pooch. So I thought, oh, this is so easy to write, whatever. And like, that's clearly how I talked at the time. And then, so I write Pooch. And, I gave it to a friend, who was often a collaborator. I gave it to a couple friends. And this friend tore it a new, we're not allowed to swear, right?
Rear end.
Tore it. He did not like it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then I gave it to other people who didn't like it. And I realized this very important lesson, which is, you have to like something as an artist enough not to do it once. Because there are some people who can write something that they don't care about. I did not care about Pooch. I liked it, but I didn't care about it. And, you could do that, but you have to like it enough not to write it once or even twice or three times. And I think this was the second or third draft that I finally shared, but you have to like something enough to write it 15 times.
Right? Yeah.
Because that's still what it's going to take unless you luck out.
Do you mean writing it 15 times in drafts, or do you mean writing it 15 times because they're going to make 15? If this movie does well, they're going to make Pooch 1 through 9, and
that's a high class problem
series.
Yeah. What is the ghost protocol of the Pooch universe? When do we get to film 800?
So, but anyway, Pooch was about this Hollywood dog who gets kicked out of Hollywood for bad behavior. And he hates like suburban life and all that stuff. And then he winds up getting kicked out and becomes homeless and then adopted by like a cute suburban family. So he's like living the life that he hates, and it's like a rags to riches in reverse thing. And you've seen things like it. And actually the movie Bolt eventually, I never watched it because I think I was hurt when it came out. Bolt, I believe, is about a Hollywood dog actor. Like it's about like, what if Lassie was like an obnoxious celebrity kind of thing.
Right.
And I don't know what happens in Bolt beyond that.
Well, we're immediately eliminating Bolt because it is a personal affront to our guest.
Yes.
So that one is not going to win.
That's why it won't be the best talking dog movie.
But anyway, I learned, I thought it was a very important lesson to realize like, you have to care about something enough to really soldier through it. Doesn't mean you have to love it, but like, and some of us, I think most of us can't do that. And so, and because basically the lesson is everything good is done in the rewrite. Like, it's about the editing and the shaping and the honing of something. And so I've always taken that to heart. So thanks, Pooch.
Yeah.
Maybe Pooch taught you the greatest lesson of all. Maybe we should go back and do a rewrite now. Now
that you know this,
like you've got the key.
But once he does it, he's going to have to do 14 more.
But I realized that I didn't care. I was like, I don't want to put all of my psychic, like my soul into this thing. That just depletes me. So I'd rather put my soul into other things that won't see the light of day. But that I'm proud of.
Yeah.
But in doing Pooch, did you sort of, I know at that point you're like, all right, what's selling? I'm going to make something that sells, and then when that truckload of money comes, then I can make whatever I want.
Yeah.
But
it was Andy Kaufman doing Taxi.
And I did have an agent at the time who read the first draft of it. I think there was only like 3. And she read the first draft and she goes, this feels like you hate this movie. Like I can tell you're writing this with such, like she goes, it's occasionally funny, but it feels like you're above it. And I was like, oh. Yeah.
That was hint 1.
Yeah. And it's just like, you shouldn't, and I've since met I've become friendly, with this guy who was the showrunner for Saved by the Bell. which is a show that people deride for its writing and all of that stuff. But in talking to him and about his craft and stuff, it's like you learn like even shows like that people are like, it's easy. Anybody could do it kind of thing. It's like, no, there's a real skill set and you have to love it in whatever way it is. Anyway.
Yeah, look, I love Saved by the Bell.
I've never derided Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, I love it. I even love the college years. I own all of it on DVD.
This is true?
This is 100%
What
true.
is the best bonus feature on the college years DVD?
I think maybe there's a commentary track. Maybe I'm misremembering. If there's a commentary track, by far that has to be the best feature, even if I've never listened to it.
If there's a commentary track from one of the new additions to the cast who doesn't have 10 years of being on a show together and is like, so this scene when we shot this, I just met these guys.
There actually is a Mortified podcast episode about celebrity obsessions where somebody writes angry letters to the guy who played like the new Screech in the new cast, Saved by the Bell.
Oh, wow.
And like this guy would write like hate mail and so he reads that on stage. He's like,
Was it Dustin Diamond that was on stage reading his hate mail? So I wrote this to the guy that took over.
But all of that to actually ask, when you're putting together Pooch, are you like, let me look at what works in these kind of movies?
Oh, yeah.
So what makes a good talking dog? In a movie? What makes a good talking dog movie? What are our criteria that, if we're going to pick the best, what are we looking for?
Well, I think you start with the base of the meal is what makes a good dog movie.
Sure.
Which,
so the base of the meal is dog.
Yeah.
Great. Suddenly I have no appetite.
But I don't know if I've ever articulated this before, so I love that you asked this. I think a great dog movie is like is really what we associate with dogs just in general, like on a cultural level, like loyalty, friendship, and it ties into the thing that is going to be my pick. But yeah, loyalty and friendship and, trust and sort of that blind love where it's like, we're brothers.
Right.
And so you got that at the base. A talking dog movie adds, God, I guess because my pick doesn't really do this. That's interesting. So that's maybe what makes a good dog movie. As far as what makes a good talking dog movie,
right?
I think I don't know that I have a good answer to that. I mean, I want to say that it's like it's the chance to vocalize this creature that we often think of as having a human personality.
Everybody with a dog has a voice for their dog.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
Do you think you mentioned the companionship and the brotherhood and do you think that a successful dog movie needs to have a human counterpart?
Do you mean successful talking dog movie?
Or I guess I mean that would I guess a regular dog movie would, because you have to have
traditionally, I mean the tropes are and my pick doesn't do this, but the tropes really, tend to be, like an Air Bud story, which everyone knows, but like,
sure.
or like Lassie.
You know what this studio needs? A new Air Bud story.
But like where you have, a kid who's alone and then gets a friend who's an animal, in this case, a dog who plays basketball and and then they sort of transcend the language. Well, I guess in a talking dog movie, they don't transcend the language.
Sort of like the things that make E.T. a great film.
Yes.
Is it's a bond between two quote unquote misfits
Yes.
and they complete one another and help one another become more whole or they can't complete, neither one of them can complete their individual journeys unless they complete a journey together.
Right.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. But then there's all sorts of curveballs that are interesting, like, and maybe this was not my choice, but it was almost my choice. There's, the Chevy Chase movie from the 70s or 80s, that stars Benji's daughter. Oh, Heavenly Dog.
Yeah.
Stars, and the dog who plays the dog in that is named Benji, but not the character is named not Benji. It's the dog actor is the daughter of the original Benji, whose name is like Higgins or something crazy. And the daughter is named Benji but is playing a different. It doesn't make any sense. But the point is, Chevy Chase was a voice.
Chevy Chase was the voice of a dog a couple of times,
but it wasn't like a little boy or a little girl befriends a thing,
right?
And
I wonder if
well, Chevy Chase is in Karate Dog.
Yeah, the new classic of the Air Bud universe.
Yeah.
It's it's middling in the universe.
So we have.
Let me real quickly
ahead,
though. It seems like then the absence of a human might be what makes a great talking dog movie, because out of necessity the animals are talking. You know what I mean? If it's rare that you see a dog talk to a human in a human voice, in speaking English or whatever language you're watching this movie in, and the human doesn't react by freaking out. It's kind of like Toy Story. You know what I mean? It's once the people are gone, then the animals are talking.
Right.
Well, and then the other question is, and this could cut a huge swath out. Would you consider an animated film in which the dogs talk a talking dog film?
So I'm going to drop a bomb. I thought long and hard about this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my choice is an animated movie. And I was like, they're going to ride me because they're going to say that I'm cheating or something.
Here's my concern.
I think there's different buckets in the talking dog movie genre.
Right.
And that's just one of them. And mine is that.
Okay.
And this is what's concerning me.
Okay.
Is that you keep talking about your pick.
Oh.
We're going to go with no preconceived notions here.
You can come in with a
you
pick.
can absolutely come in with a pick.
You might be right.
You absolutely might
was
be
I not
right.
supposed to?
No, you can.
Oh.
But our job as the three of us, we're not necessarily going to each fight for a particular dog movie. All this to say,
that's fair.
Hal and I didn't come in with picks.
I have one.
Do you? Is it something that takes place in Philadelphia?
Probably. I'll tell you what, it doesn't have a golden retriever playing sports. I don't know. That's just I don't want to ruin it.
Because unless he's playing for the Eagles, that movie is garbage.
Yeah, I want the Invincible movie, but with a dog. I want to see a Basset Hound play for the Flyers.
That's fair. You know what? I am totally swayable because this genre is important. But is it? But there's a lot of things that aren't great.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
but that you love.
Drum roll then.
Yes.
What is your pick for the best talking dog movie?
So I did a lot of internet research, and then I stumbled upon something from my childhood that I really do think is a very good movie, and it's The Fox and the Hound.
Oh man.
You hate it?
I love The Fox and the Hound.
Oh, good.
I'm a hound dog. Yeah, it's a fantastic.
You know who that voice is?
It's Kurt Russell, right?
Well,
or when
he's an adult, they're Kurt Russell, and then when they're a kid, I'm a hound dog. That voice, I think.
Oh,
it's Keith Coogan and Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman. I got it right here. Yeah, it's
the Cougs. Are foxes canines, by the way, or are they cats? Felines?
Foxes are canines.
Yeah, they are canines.
So there's technically two dogs in that movie. But they're from different. And so that movie is like this interesting thing about it's sort of about racism or about not racism, but like it's a metaphor it's a fable about prejudice and bigotry about these two creatures who are supposed to be sworn enemies. And due to a situation that happens in their pup years, they become really good friends, and then they reunite years later as enemies. And then they're like, "Wait, I'm torn. I'm supposed to hate you." And then which later gets remade as Enemy Mine. No, it didn't.
Because the fox gives birth.
Truck.
Yeah, and then Copper has to raise the baby fox.
Oh, you knew the name.
Yeah,
Copper.
Yeah.
Oh,
I do. I have a lot of very useful. That was useful information. It's not even useless.
I think that movie makes me cry. It has a lot of important things about the importance of friendship.
Right.
Yeah.
And
the song "When You're the Best of Friends" from that movie is. Do you remember the? Do you know the song?
Yeah.
When you're the best of friends.
And it's sung by Pearl Bailey, I think.
Yeah, and it's very it's that like early 80s, late 70s, like there's a flute in it, so it's got that sort of like dreamlike, and it's just her voice, her rich, I don't know. That song, I love that song. You know what, since you mentioned The Fox and the Hound, that is tough to beat. Because I was actually talking to some buddies about doing this episode. They're like, "Oh, it's Fox and the Hound."
Really?
Yeah.
I'm shocked that came up.
That, and the other one that came up a lot, also animated. So I feel like we have to, let's just start with the animated ones.
Okay.
Does that work?
Sure.
Is Lady and the Tramp.
I debated that. Yeah.
Lady and the Tramp, and also the original 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah, I don't know why I would go to that.
Lady and the Tramp, I was watching some clips of that last on YouTube in preparation for this. And I was thinking how that date scene is really romantic, like with the spaghetti and the kiss thing, is really one of the most iconic date kisses in cinematic history. Like, why that? And I was just like, it's just something about it so powerful. And it really is like, he's really kind of like, it's weird to have a romantic comedy for kids, but it really is like, he's got this like swagger.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not sexual, but there is like a sexuality.
It's romantic.
Yeah. There's an innocence to it, but also, it's also a romance.
It's definitely it's definitely
they'll
not,
bone at some point after the movie. There is going to be boning. And this is a great look. Parents out there, I'm not going to tell you how to raise your kids, but if you show them this movie, it's a great opportunity afterwards to sit down and tell them the facts of life. Say, after this, they're going to go bone. They're going to go to Bone Town, and I don't.
You mean like how we give our dog a bone? Like that?
I don't understand how.
When a dog and another dog love each other very much,
they give each other bones?
One of them gets on top of the other one's back and administers. They go into what is called.
Nope. Let's stop.
Fair enough. I'm just saying there's an opportunity. There's that, it is like a very pure idea of a romantic encounter. And that's why every time it's like a montage of romantic moments, you'll always get the nosing of the meatball and the slurping of
and that's part of the talking dog universe of like both of these movies where like there are humans but they're very peripheral.
Right.
And Toy Story I think is the same way where it's just like it's really if you hear a human at all they're not the central things. I think Lady and the Tramp is
Lady, and also another thing I love about Lady and the Tramp is, and I think this could be a further discussion too. It is more dogs better, because if you have a movie where there is one talking dog versus a movie where you have so many distinct different characters, you've got you've got all of these different dogs in the kennel or the pound. And I'm probably going to confuse some of them with dogs that are in 101 Dalmatians, which is the one that has the dog,
it's
howling.
101 Dalmatian.
That has the howling
the
chain.
Midnight Bark. Yeah.
The Midnight Bark. That's 101 Dalmatians. And the pound is Lady and the Tramp.
Right.
But so they both have their great secondary character dogs.
I mean, for me, I love 101 Dalmatians. I love all Disney films, but that one in particular, I would watch over and over again as a kid. And there's something about that Midnight Bark where you learn a lot about like what London society might have been like in the 60s. Cause you got like like just the different varieties of British dogs that exist there.
Harumphing.
But are we going as a movie, or are we going or are we going with the dog characters too? Because I think as a movie, I think 101 Dalmatians for me wins hands down, because it's such a big departure from the previous Disney movies they had made. Yep. The artwork is cool. Their version of London is this sort of like mod, hand drawn, like the backgrounds half the time aren't even colored in. It's just this groovy looking movie.
Yeah.
But like Pongo and Perdita they're good and upright and true parents to their 101 precocious puppies, but there's not a ton of, you don't have like the sultry one singing, "Here's a tramp." You know what I mean? Like you don't have these insane other characters.
Well, I mean, we are looking for the best talking dog movie.
That's right. Not the best talking dog.
If it was the best talking dog, I would make an argument for Doug from Up, which is not really a talking dog movie. It's a movie that has a great talking dog in it.
Yeah. That's like saying like the Muppets, because there's Ralph the dog. And
exactly.
Right.
I also considered Sport Goofy, but that doesn't. It's still debatable if he's even a dog. So
a very goofy movie. Well, he was Dippy Dog. I think he's a dog.
He's a dog. Goofy is 100% a dog. Is that so? It sounds like we've got three great contenders right now.
But I think we need to explore,
in the animated.
Yeah, I think we need
on
to
the
explore
animated side. Do we know of or are there any other animated dog movies?
All Dogs Go to Heaven.
That stand, like Oliver and Company.
Yeah.
But they're not, I don't think they have the Bolt.
Balto.
No, Balto.
And Balto.
Yeah, Balto and Bolto. Bolt and Balto.
The Aristocats, which has 2 talking dogs in it, but if our best talking dog movie is the Aristocats, we will probably get letters.
Robin Hood.
Will you really get letters?
Oh, yeah.
I will. He doesn't read them.
Yeah.
I am angry.
Dear sir, I never write letters like this. But after your latest episode, I felt inclined.
You also have The Secret Life of Pets from 2 years ago, which
I didn't watch.
I didn't either, but I think it's like one of the top 5 Universal movies of all. It's insane that I saw a list of the top box office gross. And I was like,
it was really that big, huh?
Maybe just because of ticket prices being higher now than they've ever been. So
gotta be
more
that
recent
ET.
movies are going to be high up there.
I do think All Dogs Go to Heaven, from what I remember, is obviously a very weird premise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, let's make a movie about dead dogs.
Exactly.
Right. It sounds like a dare.
Yeah. But actually it's pretty good. And I wish it was a movie, because there was a TV show in the 80s called The Adventures of Pete the Puppy, or Petey the Puppy, a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
And it was these puppies that went all over the world looking for their master or something. And that was very epic, and I don't know why I'm talking about it, but I'm sorry.
No.
Did you see that show Downward Dog last season?
The yoga show?
No, it wasn't. They titled it for no reason other than it's a yoga pun, but there's no yoga in the show. And I was like, that's cheating.
Please tell me it's about a dog who is hitting rock bottom.
That would be better.
It's the Leaving Las Vegas of
No,
dog
it's an ABC sitcom about this single woman and her life. And then she has a dog who's, like a baby Herman, like snarky kind of, you can hear his thoughts, but so it's a talking dog series. It was actually I thought it was very good.
Right on. Who was in it? Do you remember? Do you recall? Was it like a name,
No.
voice or anything in the?
Everybody in it was made up. I don't know.
All actors that you've never seen before, they are made up.
No, but it was actually very well acted. I liked it. You can find it on Hulu, I'm sure.
To quickly finish up on the dog from Up, though.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. That dog is.
I'm surprised they didn't give it Doug like his own spin-off.
Right.
Like Tinkerbell got a movie at some point.
Or like even just a short that goes before a Disney film.
Let's make it.
Right?
Let's do it.
What
if we
I don't know if I want to write a movie.
Just for the purposes. What if all of your ideas for dog things were like, what if Doug met Pooch? What would happen if they had a spaghetti dinner in an alley?
Oh my God.
I think they just cut it in half and eat it on their own.
Yeah, because they would realize you don't need to kiss or you don't need to like slurp the same thing. You could just share.
Exactly.
You can just divvy it up.
I think for animated films, that pretty much does it.
Okay.
Do we want to pick an animated film now that's going to?
I think the animated film is going to be the winner.
I'm nearly 100% certain. So let's leave with those 3.
Let's hold off.
I'm pretty certain you're right.
We're not going to forget those 3. How about we take a quick break?
Great.
And then we'll come back. We'll do live action, and then we'll make a decision.
To go walk the dog.
Yeah, we're going to go walk the dog. We'll be right
with
back.
yo-yos.
Yeah. Before you hear about the great shows on MaximumFun.org.
You should hear about the great shows on the stages of the Philadelphia Improv Theater.
That's right. Us doing 2 of those shows is on Saturday, June 23rd.
Shows this?
Yes. My precious. I can't do that voice.
No, neither can I. But
you were pretty close.
Well, you do a Philadelphia voice, and I can't do one of those. Why don't you tell everybody the details about our show in Philadelphian?
Sure. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to go down to Philadelphia Improv Theater, okay? You're going to do it on Saturday, June 23rd, okay? There are 2 shows. One is 5 o'clock show. There's an 8 o'clock show. The 8 o'clock show, you can get a VIP ticket and hang out with us at 7 p.m. for like a whole hour. We'll sign something for you. You can hang out. You can talk to us and then come see a show. Both shows are going to be completely different though.
Both shows?
Both shows are going to be different.
I sounded like a British actor trying to do a Philadelphia accent.
Yeah. You can look up Philadelphia Podcast Festival. You can look that up and get tickets there. Or you can go to Philadelphia Improv Theater to the Fit Theater PHIT, and you can get tickets there, or you can just go direct at bit.ly/We Got Philly 2018. That's WEGOTPHILLY 2018.
I've never heard you like count or spell in your Philadelphia voice, and it is glorious.
If you want to hear more of this, not going to edit it out. Come on down to the theater. Even if you're in New York or Delaware or Jersey, just come on over. We love to see yous.
But for now, please enjoy these wonderful commercials for wonderful Max Fun shows.
I love it.
Good stuff.
Every time.
Well, I hope that you're enjoying this podcast you're listening to as much as we are pretending to. But anyway, why not listen to another podcast too? It's called The Flophouse.
And on our podcast, we have recently watched a movie, often a bad movie, and we review it on our podcast, but mainly talk about other stuff and, I don't know, hang out.
It's all about hanging out, feeling like you're being with your best friends. Who are your best friends? Us three. Dan McCoy, Emmy Award-winning writer for The Daily Show, Stuart Wellington, owner of the best bar in Brooklyn, Hinterlands, and Elliot Kalin, former Emmy-winning head writer for The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, former head writer of Mystery Science Theater 3000, The Return, so many things. Author of the upcoming children's book.
All right, that's enough.
The Elliot's credits just go on and on.
Yeah, but if you like the idea of listening to three funny guys talk about bad movies, then why not come over and listen to The Flophouse? It's available at MaximumFun.org or wherever fine podcasts are found.
So get out of here.
Hey, my name's Jonah Ray. You might have seen me on the latest season of Mystery Science Theater 3000 or heard me on the Nerdist podcast. Well, I got a new podcast that's about 5 years old, but we're moving it over to Max Fun, along with my friend Cash Hartzell.
Hey, everybody.
And my other friend Neil.
Hi. Nailed it!
So, it's a music podcast where a lot of people just kind of hang out and talk about music, but so much more. We also take submissions. And so you could hear your band or our music.
or both.
Or both of it.
You could listen to your band play your music.
Yeah. So tune in, why don't you? You could find out about some new bands and maybe just hear us embarrass ourselves as we drink too much.
Not too much.
Well, it's all perspective, isn't it?
Sure is.
Listen to Jonah Radio on maxfun.org.
All right, we're back.
Okay, now it's time to take a look at the runners-up, which is going to be the live action. Well, I don't know. Let's take a look at some of these classic live action talking dog movies. I'm just going to read off a few. Thanks to Kate McManus.
I'll tell you if I cried when I saw it.
You too.
Yes.
Okay. Homeward Bound.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Cats and Dogs.
No.
Did not cry, but no.
But what? What were you gonna say?
But I was going to say it's very good, and then I was like, I don't remember if I've seen all of it.
The secret war between cats and dogs. It seemed like
It's fun. It's medium fun.
Wasn't there a sequel too?
I think
There is.
Where it was
there
like
is.
Pussy Galore.
Any children's movie nowadays has straight-to-video sequels.
Yeah.
And at that point, by the time they get to the third sequel, it's just 90 minutes of fart noises
Yeah.
and a flip book of a cat,
Which is
flips.
We've got Look Who's Talking Now, the third in the series, featuring
Interesting.
Danny DeVito and Diane Keaton as talking dogs.
Yeah.
I would rather see them fall in love as people than as dogs.
Yeah, I'd watch that
Because
movie.
voice-wise, you get it. He's like, it's Lady and the Tramp.
Yeah.
She's Lady.
It's
he's the
gruff
Tramp.
versus classy.
100%.
Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Yep.
That made you cry?
No, I'm just agreeing that it existed.
Yeah. I also acknowledge its existence on this planet.
Okay. Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2 and 3, a lot of fun. I watched them because, truth be told, I had a friend in them, so I watched them.
You didn't like the first one. You
I
like the second and
I don't
I
wanna-
never saw the first one. I only saw the ones that my buddy was in.
Yeah.
Babe, 1995.
Very good, cried.
Very good and very much cried. Not
Sure.
a dog
Not a dog movie,
The
though.
title character is a pig.
Yeah.
The Buddies movies. As mentioned before, there are 10 Buddies movies in all.
Some of which have talking dogs.
Air Bud did not have a talking dog, but the rest of them did.
And I recently watched a whole bunch of trailers for these.
Right.
Because in the Mortified podcast, the producer Hadley and I were talking about these movies, and somehow we got onto just sport animal movies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wound up watching trailers for a monkey, chimpanzee
MVP.
MVP, most vertical primate, who skateboards, but then also at some point snowboards.
Yeah.
And they actually have footage of this animal doing it. And I'm sure they beat the shit out of the animal.
Man.
Wait, am I supposed to say that?
That's all right.
But I'm sure it's like, I can't imagine it's a kind thing, a humane thing to do.
I'm not laughing because I want to see a primate pistol whip until they can do an ollie. But the idea that, and at some point, like, it's disgusting how animals are treated on sets in general.
Yes.
But the idea that somebody's like, I know how we'll get this thing to do tricks. We'll use a cattle prod. That'll do it.
Oh,
it's crazy to me because I think that's how Tony Hawk learned to skate also.
If Hollywood's listening, we don't need chimps in movies. They don't like doing it. We've already got plenty of footage.
Not even Ed when he plays baseball in Mexico.
All these movies are already made. So
I once wrote an angry letter to a film critic who said the review of Ed was 2 words, skip it, which is technically 4 words.
Mm-hmm.
But, and that was the review. And I wrote this very angry letter in college as this guy who's a monkey movie aficionado. And I said that Ed is a very important movie. And it was no winking. I was like very serious.
Right.
And so they published it. And it was great. Cause I'm a jerk. Back to dogs.
That's so good though. I like the idea that you didn't betray that it was a bit.
Is Hotel for Dogs in there? Cause that's a good one.
Hotel for Dogs, is one of my favorites.
It's underrated.
Hotel for Dogs is in here. I thought it was great. Don Cheadle is fantastic in it. I thought I thought Lisa Kudrow was great in it. Yeah, it's a really funny, there's a good variety of dogs. It feels like the talking dog live action version of like Lady and the Tramp or 101 Dalmatians, in that there is a great variety of really good dogs. And the ending made me cry.
And I'm hearing so you asked that question, what makes a good talking dog movie, which is of course what we need to explore.
Mm-hmm.
Cause it's very important.
Right.
Yeah.
And, in hearing all these things, and now I'm thinking of like Milo and Otis and we, you discussed Homeward Bound. I'm like, the reason you asked, did it make you cry? I think was initially as a joke, but now I'm thinking about it as like, I feel like maybe there's 2 criteria for like, one is you kind of want to cry at some point, but then you also, maybe there's some wish fulfillment thing happening, like with a lot of talking dog movies, where it feels, the base language thing is like, what is that animal who I love thinking?
Yeah.
Right.
The
cry is rarely a sad cry. It's an uplifting, cathartic.
It is.
Cathartic, this animal has gone on this adventure.
Yeah.
And come out on top.
In fact, I don't even think I've seen all of Homeward Bound. I think I've only seen the end.
Mm-hmm.
And it is devastating.
Yeah.
When, is it Michael J. Fox?
Yeah, and Don Amici is the older.
Oh yeah.
Michael J. Fox is the little. I think it's not a pug. I think is he a beagle, basset, whatever he is. And then Sally Field is the cat, is Sassy, and then Shadow is the golden retriever played by Don Amici. So Shadow, hey there, kid. And it's very.
You should do a one-man show of Homeward Bound.
It's already in development,
or a complete works of talking dog movies abridged.
I'm ready.
And you do like the dog from the side characters from Dalmatians.
Oh, he's doing it. He's doing the throat clearing dog. Village Voice said this was not to miss.
I think we have a couple more contenders on this list.
Yeah.
There are a few on that we've got here that are not that are like Five Will Goes West had Jimmy Stewart in it, but it's not a dog movie. Robin Hood, Dr. Dolittle. But I think worth mentioning is the Shaggy Dog.
Yeah.
The original
both
and
versions.
the remake.
But if you had to pick between the two, you'd pick the original, right?
Sure.
I have a soft spot for those like 1950s live action.
The Fred McMurrays.
Yeah. Disney movies.
They're a lot of fun. What is jumping out at us from this category?
Did you see Milo and Otis?
I saw Milo and Otis when I was a kid. It's been a long time. That's the pug, right?
Otis that's just narrated by Dudley Moore, isn't it?
Well, but it's still, yes, but there's no animated lips, but there's, it's.
Right. Did Babe start the animated lips?
I think so.
Just imagine this, like, when you say animated lips, I don't think dirty. I think Clutch Cargo, where it's just a cutout of a dog with a human mouth in it going, "Hi there, guys. It's me, your dog. Woof, woof."
Or just Robot Chicken style, just like Post-it notes over the mouth and drawn assorted shapes.
Yeah.
So, but that one, I feel we aren't, I know there's a lot of love for that movie. Mm-hmm. And so I almost feel like we've failed by not fully acknowledging it. So I just want to acknowledge there's our weakness. Because we're clearly not going to vote for it because we didn't. Yeah. I did see it years ago, and
right. I don't remember it as
well. I know it is good.
Homeward Bound has no moving lips. It's just their thought. It's like Garfield style.
Mm-hmm.
Garfield style.
But it's only those three animals that you really see at any point.
Right. It's The Incredible Journey is the book, right?
Yeah, the Golden Retriever thing where like the eyebrows go up and down in succession.
Right.
He's like, I'm hungry, and then. But Milo and Otis, I feel like, is just a narrated story. Like, and then the dogs went into a
you don't actually. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I was wondering why it was not appearing on this list.
Right.
I've been sitting here scrolling through it.
Is that what the movie The Bear? Did they do that too? Was there a narrator in that, or was that just all silent? What an interesting technique, though.
The Bear,
just have a narrator go, and then the boy dog walks over. Milo walks over there and does, and so like. And he thinks to himself, I need to get the cat.
Which is like Planet Earth style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just writing the narrative instead of following it around and uncovering it. So yeah, I guess that's why. I guess then what we have of the ones that we've got, for me, Hotel for Dogs jumps to the top just because I have a soft spot for that movie.
There must be something big where...
I'm sorry. There's one that we did not mention.
This is a mix of live action and animated.
It's a mix of live action and animated, but it's ostensibly live action. It's just that the animated characters are,
it's maybe the most one of the most famous talking dogs.
I like the suspense here.
Do you know who we're talking about?
Give me a clue.
Dave Nadelberg.
Okay.
I want to see how
he travels by van.
The dog travels by van.
Travels by van.
Teen Wolf. Is that true?
No. Oh, that's great.
But
he travels.
That was a good guess, right?
That's a great guess.
It was very outside of the box.
Yeah,
I like it. You're hired for this job. That'd be the greatest. That's like the new job interview question. Is
name a dog.
What dog movie am I thinking of? They travel by van. Is it Teen Wolf? I like the way you think. Welcome to the marketing team.
He travels by van with his high school age buddies who solve mysteries.
Oh, right. Scooby the Doo.
Exactly.
The Doo.
Scooby the Doo. It was the first movie, I guess. How many did they make? Did they make two? But the first one was The Island, right?
The second one was The Island.
What was the first one?
I think the second one was like Monster Island.
The Ghost of Freddie Prinze Sr.
Right.
Yes.
That was and then they take the mask off and it's Freddie Prinze Sr.
Yeah. Chico and the Man.
The thing that's great about the Scooby-Doo live action movie is not even Scooby-Doo. It's the fact that they took a much maligned character from the Scooby-Doo universe, Scrappy-Doo.
Mm-hmm. I love Scrappy-Doo. Maligned?
Maligned.
In that Ewok way, I bet. Which I will also defend.
Sure. That, just that Scrappy-Doo is super annoying.
Yeah.
Cause he is annoying to the team, like by design.
Oh, right. I guess.
He's annoying to Scooby, not to Scooby. Scooby loves him.
Yeah. He
gets them in trouble because he's so brave.
Because
he's a puppy power. He'll run in.
Maybe he just annoys
and
the
he
viewers.
Just annoys. I think people don't like that he's upset.
Got that voice that's
Well, he upset the status quo of Scooby Doo.
Mm-hmm.
I just suddenly got a hankering for Deputy Dog, which I don't think was ever a movie, but should have been.
Yeah.
I mean, look, they made a movie out of
Underdog,
yeah.
Which was good.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know. The movie was good
with Jason Lee as Underdog. But a live action, I don't like when they make it and they try to make them look like a real dog. Like Marmaduke, they use an actual Great Dane.
Yeah.
Marmaduke's cartoonish.
What about Sherman, Mr. Peabody?
Talking dog, yeah.
Yeah. It was not that great.
Right.
It should have been. It should have been great.
It should have been great. I
Ty
love
Burrell
those cartoons.
Was Professor Peabody. He was good.
Yeah. This is kind of the only one that has a human sidekick out of all of these.
Yeah.
Not a live action though. And it's not going to beat any of those 3 Disney ones.
I don't think it's the winner.
So
I wish Snoopy talked, because the Peanuts movie, that is a movie that brought me to tears.
Is it good? I never saw it.
It's
the new 3D animated one?
I think you expect, because it has that I forget whose song it is, that all I do is win, win, win no matter what. It has like a modern song in it, and you watch it, you go, that's not the Vince Guaraldi trio performing bossa nova style jazz for my enjoyment. But it's made so lovingly. They obviously understand the source material. They use all Bill Melendez vocalizations for Snoopy, so it's not new stuff at all. It's so well made that it's like, I was brought to tears at the achievement of it. That moved me to tears.
I didn't like the look of it. That's what kept me away.
Bothered me too. It looked like that episode where Homer came into the real world and looked wrong.
Yeah. You get used to it. Surprisingly, you get used to it pretty quickly.
Look, a good well-made family movie that you're like, I don't expect a ton from this, and then it blows you away. Paddington did that to me. Like,
oh my God, it's brilliant.
Paddington is fantastic.
The producer, podcast producer I was referring to before, Hadley, she is obsessed with Paddington. She's like, did you see Paddington yet?
Did you see Paddington
yet?
Did you see it yet?
No.
Go see it.
I haven't
I don't
seen
mean go see it. I mean sit at home and see it because it's available.
I will watch it.
I haven't watched the sequel yet, but it made
I'm excited to watch the sequel. I haven't seen it either.
Watching the original, the first film, most recent first film, made me get the sequel immediately, and then I went to the TV section of Apple TV and I bought all of the 1970s stop motion shorts that they used to show on Pinwheel on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember that I liked Paddington as a child. I think I was always like, it's okay. But I think it's weird.
It's a very proper bit of like, a bear would never sit on that chair.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
but is it good?
It is.
The old ones?
Yeah, they're great.
See, I have
They're
a
so
thing
charming.
against Pinwheel because my sister watched all 6 hours of Pinwheel every day, and I never got to watch anything. My mom was like, sure, you can watch your show when her show's over. And my mom didn't understand a Pinwheel's 6 hours long.
Your sister's good strategy.
Yeah. She's like, I get to watch my show and then you can watch yours. But mine's half an hour.
And she's like, just use the DVR that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Use the VCR Plus.
Yeah, we just have a VCR blinking 12 o'clock. All right. Do we have a live action movie that can go toe to toe with these 3 animated classics?
Homeward Bound seems
is
to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're not supporting you as much on Hotel for Dogs, but like I could if I really rewatched it.
Sure. If you want to rewatch it, it's on my shelf over there.
I know our friend is in that movie.
Yes.
Our friend,
Eric Edelstein.
Yes.
Who
one
was
of the
recently
founding
on the
fathers
show.
of the show.
That's right.
Eric Edelstein is in that film.
He's one of the bad guys. But the main celebrity bad guys, I think a good villain. Ooh, you know what? That just put a thought in my head.
What?
You just found the winner.
I think so.
Of course you did.
Because a good villain who's fighting against the dog or dogs, that helps a dog movie
I agree.
be epically amazing.
So in, I think like with Hotel for Dogs, movies where the dog is like running around in like a fancy proper thing and everyone's getting very upset.
Yeah.
Whether it's traipsing through a wedding or a house or whatever, like that's a really great cliche in a lot of dog movies.
Beethoven did it epically.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's very good at that. That Beethoven.
Great big dog.
But, and even in Mouse Hunt, like with like a tiny animal, like that kind of stuff happens. But yeah, villain is very, very important, and there's no bigger villain than Cruella.
Yeah.
But, and I mean, the thing about Fox and the Hound is it's such like a nice, gentle movie.
Yeah.
And there's there is villains. There's basically it's man. It's like man saying like you're supposed to kill your friend.
Yeah, the concept of deliberate, unwarranted hatred towards the other is the villain.
Right. But he never, and there's the climax of that movie, just to give it its due,
Sure.
is the farmer has a shotgun and he's about to kill, he's like cornered the fox, and he's like, I'm going to get you, fox, who's wounded. And so you're going to be, and like the fox is like lying in the water, like, I guess I'm going to die now by a shotgun. And what does the hound Copper do? Gets right in the middle, like steps right between the gun and his friend, and he does the right thing.
Yeah.
And it's really important.
It's touching.
And the owner, the gun owner is like, the farmer is like, get out of the way, Copper. What are you doing? And Copper's like, no. And I thought this was a really interesting touch. Copper could have gone, like, get out of here. But Copper didn't. Copper went, and that was really, I was like, that's really like vulnerable. I don't know. There's like empathy, and I was like,
it gives the right message.
Yeah.
Not, I'm going to bite you, but this is my friend. You'll break my heart if you shoot this.
And I don't know if it made it doesn't make as dramatic of a movie, but it's a bolder choice.
Yeah.
And that, it's interesting because 101 Dalmatians is, I think, I've said all the things that I think are great about it, but it wasn't one that there was ever like real stakes. I mean, there were stakes, but it didn't.
They're going to get turned into a coat.
Yeah, but there
murder puppies.
There weren't. I guess heartstrings. There wasn't heartstring pulling like there is, and one thing that we've been using, sort of
as a metric
is did you cry? You even said say if this movie made you cry. 101 Dalmatians is great. It didn't make me cry.
It doesn't. 101 Dalmatians is great with comedy and great with adventure. And Fox and the Hound is great with emotion and sort of maybe messages or statements.
Right. And Lady and the Tramp is iconically one incredibly iconic scene.
But I was going to say that Fox and the Hound is not as good with drama. The music is kind of mediocre, especially compared to Cruella de Vil.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
so at the end of the day, what's more important, emotions or adventure
in life?
Because that's what's going to determine this.
Talking dog movies.
Which one tells the better story?
Right.
The villain. I think there are checks and balances here between the two films.
Right.
Overall, which one tells the better story? And I'm not saying that to sway it one way or the other. To be frank, I don't know if I saw Fox and the Hound. I was very young. I have no memory of it. And hearing that description of that moment, I said, well, you can't get any better than that.
Yeah. You could describe the movie The Fox and the Hound in about 60 seconds.
But is everything between the moments of them as children and that moment, that emotional moment, is all that fill better than the elements inside of 101 Dalmatians, which I leave to you gentlemen.
I'm worried that I railroaded this though.
How so?
Because I came in with a pre-thing, and then I told you. Everybody I talked to was like, "Oh, it's Fox and the Hound." Oh, it's Fox and the Hound. I don't want to be the railroader.
No, you're not the railroader.
You're not the railroader.
You're the guest.
This is an important topic that deserves justice.
We've never talked about anything more important than this ever,
ever.
Until the next episode.
Right. Until then,
we love all our babies equally.
As we move to the decision, I do have a quick tangent, which is. I had this thought for a future episode for you, which is in this conversation made me think of the Chipmunk movies, which I hate. And I love the Chipmunks growing up, but I hate those movies are terrible.
Even the Squeakquel, huh?
Well, that's what it made me think of was pun the title movies, like the best movie or TV shows with a pun title.
Kitties.
Oh. Yeah. So and it doesn't have to be kids movies. I'm sure there are pun titles for adults too, but
I imagine
a good debate.
We will revisit all of the Air Bud franchise.
Yeah.
When
those
time
are all.
comes.
And most vertical primate.
Most vertical primate.
So bad. You know that they just whipped it on a trampoline until it jumped.
Oh.
Look, I'm not condoning it. Like
Cool.
I said,
Hollywood
I'm
has it.
against this.
Hollywood has all of the chimp footage it will ever need.
Well,
oh God. This is a tough call. Like,
I mean, my personal vote would be for 101 Dalmatians, but it's the movie.
Yeah.
You have something. I'm not going to cut this out. You have something in your eyelash, and I'm scared it's going to go into your eye. All right, you're fine.
did I get it?
You're not going to cut this out.
Something more important than this decision is making sure you have your eyesight.
Thanks, Boo Boo.
You're welcome. Yeah, I think it's. I don't.
It's
mine
tough.
would be for 101 Dalmatians. I think it checks a lot of boxes for me.
It is sort of, I guess, more. That movie didn't shape me.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and whereas Fox and the Hound, I think left like an imprint in me.
Right.
But 101 Dalmatians is a more satisfying film.
Mm-hmm.
In that, what it does well, like it's this film you remember more. And there's a reason it's more popular. And I don't think it's just because there's more cute animals, although maybe.
What happens at the end of Fox and the Hound after? I assume the fox is not shot.
Oh, this is crazy.
Please tell me.
This is that end
They're
scene.
both shot.
No,
Oh,
this is
perfect.
This is crazy. The end scene. So after like Copper gets in the way and goes, and then the farmer goes, all right, I guess I'm not going to kill the fox. And he lowers the gun and the dog joins him. And then and you kind of hope that the farmer's like, just kidding. But
This movie shaped you, right?
yeah. No, but the dog, he walks away and I think it actually hurts the movie, but it is very interesting. It's sort of one of those, I don't know if you ever saw Time Bandits, but it's one of those like endings where it's like, oh, you didn't need to be that bleak or stark. And so the ending of this movie is Copper the dog just joins the farmer and they go off and he and the fox, like they don't have it doesn't end with them together. Like there's not a moment where they're like, thanks man, you really stood up for me and we're going to be friends forever now. They end just walking away. And maybe they do after in the sequel. Actually, there was a sequel, but the sequel takes place.
It's the children, isn't it?
The sequel takes place in the intervening years of like one of the sections of like.
Oh, really?
Like Clone Wars.
Yeah. So you had Corey Feldman as young, you had Kurt Russell as older Copper, and they had someone play puberty Copper.
It's like
something
Harrison
like that.
Fan or something plays Copper in that movie.
But they wind up going off their separate ways. And so if there was a sequel that did like, what would happen next chronologically, maybe they do get back together and hang out on Tuesdays or whatever by the crick. But, but this is not where this movie ends. This movie ends with like, he does a heroic act and then it's like, they don't even like share a meaningful look.
Say they don't even like, he doesn't turn around and look and give him a nod.
No. And so it's sort of anticlimactic. So it's sort of ballsier that they do that, but then also less good.
There's a thin line in films, and I can't judge which side this comes down on, between ballsy and lazy.
Yes.
Where you either go, boy, that was a really brave decision to end it that way, versus, well, we have our big moment, and then what happens? They walk away from each other, and then we roll the credits.
But what happens to Tony
it's only 8 minutes
Soprano?
long.
It's a blackout.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's a really profound statement and true, that there's a thin line between bold and lazy or sloppy or whatever.
Yeah.
I do think that while it is very cool, I do think that ending, to not milk that more, I think it was a missed opportunity and I don't think it was something that the filmmakers as artists were fighting for. We got our artistic way. I think, it was part of the factory and they churned out this product and it turned out that way.
Right.
I don't know. Considering the time, I mean, you'd just gone through the late 70s of movies.
But this was like the dark period of Disney movies where I think nobody respected animation yet.
It's 81. This is 81, this movie.
Like animation was it wasn't until like Little Mermaid that people were like, animation's important. And then The Simpsons also like making it like a thing for adults, and just the Black Cauldron and Fox and the Hound. And there was all those movies in the 70s and 80s, like, and all those Peanuts cartoons, like animation in that time was not respected. But there are some like gems in there, but they're like, like The Last Unicorn, where it's like, yeah, it's not good, but it is good, and it's also not good. But yeah, it's that dark. That's a dark. So anyway, I cut you off. Maybe you were about to say that.
No, I was saying that if cinema at the time was in a particularly bleak period, not bleak, but you've got things like Raging Bull and Taxi Driver and Rocky and, this sort of grittier movies coming out around that time. I wonder if it was a conscious thing on Disney's part to go, you know what? No, let's just end it like this.
It doesn't feel like it. It feels like lazy filmmaking. It doesn't feel like a risk, because it's a risk to take that in a family movie to not create a happy ending or a definitive ending. To just have it be like, what is my child? I'm taking my child to this. What are they going to come away from it with?
Like I equate it to the end of
a debt.
I'm sorry, what?
Because it sounds like the Hound's it sounds like Copper's just like paying back a debt. They're like, all right, you live now. Goodbye. Cut off all contact.
And it is. I would say it's accidentally ballsy, that part. But which is still to be commended.
Right.
But it does lean me against. I equate it a little bit to the end of the Never-Ending Story. There's this big climactic battle between the Atreyu, the boy, and the Gamork, the evil wolf thing. Also a talking dog. But it's the least climactic. All that happens, there's no battle. Like they lunge at each other and then it's over immediately.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
and then
did they forget to have an action scene there?
The Gamork falls over with a sharp rock in its chest.
And it's such a it's sloppy. And there, I assume that they shot something, realized it looked terrible, or they lost their money, or who knows what, but it's bad that it doesn't, it's not exciting.
Yeah.
And so I think I do want more from that ending, as much as I do think, it's such a beautiful movie, the F&H.
Good old F&H.
Yeah. Also probably the name of a pub somewhere.
Yeah.
Here.
For sure it is.
Is there a Fox and the Hound here?
Yeah, down the street from literally where we are in Studio City.
Get out of here.
We can go there right now and get drunk.
You know what? Let's go there, get drunk, and celebrate 101 Dalmatians' victory in this episode.
I think that is correct.
All right. People of the world, this was the most important topic we've ever settled in our life. And before you start lipping off on the Facebook group and on Twitter, we're not going to count Spaceballs because he's not a dog. He's a Mog. He's half man, half dog.
He's his own best friend.
Thank you. The best dog movie is 101 Dalmatians. All your other dog movies, sorry. They're not as good.
They're in the kennel.
They're in the kennel.
Oh.
We've kenneled them up. At least they're not with that most vertical primate getting nipple clamps put on them. Ride a skateboard down a ramp, for goodness sakes. Or that new dog. What is it? Show dogs? They had to re-edit it? No. Leave dogs alone.
What was the deal with Show Dogs? It was just so...
There was some weird suggestive scene or something in it, but also they're like, they weren't shampooing dogs, they were covering them in acid. I don't know what they were doing. But they stop. And also those other...
Show Dogs or Dog's Purpose?
No, Show Dogs, the
Dog's
new one.
Purpose, that was the one where they were like, throw the dogs off of a pier and let them swim. Or like electrify the dog. Like, stop.
We have to wrap this up.
Stop it. 101 Dalmatians is the best. You know why it's the best?
Because they're animated.
Nobody
hurt an actual dog.
Nobody put anything sharp inside anything to make anybody do anything, except for Walt with the animators. And that's their business. They're all adults. What they do behind closed doors is up to them. Asked and answered.
But is Pooch the runner-up?
Pooch is of course the runner-up.
Pooch is the secret runner-up. Dave Nadelberg, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks,
guys. This was awesome.
We talked a little bit about Mortified. Where can people learn more? Where do you want them to go, see, listen to, watch? Give it all.
You can check out Mortified. You can just go to getmortified.com and you can discover stage shows and we have we actually have our own diary. You can write journal entries all about your favorite dog movies growing up in our new book, My Mortified Life. And you can find me at Dave Nadelberg on the Twitters.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on the show. This topic is closed. There are many more topics to discuss, people. So, reach out to us on Twitter at We Got This Tweets. Check out the Maximum Fun subreddit, or
you can email us at wegotThisPodcast@gmail.com, or go to our Facebook group, the best group on the internet, facebook.com/groups/WeGotThisPodcast. Thank you to producer Ken Plume, researcher Kate McManus, who put together a very nice document that we referred to copiously in this episode, graphic designer Uri Kelman, and QA engineer Jen Alba.
And thanks, of course, to our musicians, Jonathan Dinerstein and Mike Furman, for our score and theme song, respectively. And thanks to you, our listeners. If I may end this the way it began, speaking my favorite language. Woof, 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 woof. Arr, arr. Thank you. For Hal Lublin, I'm Mark Gagliardi.
For Mark Gagliardi, I'm Hal Lublin. And don't worry, everybody.
Woof.
We got this.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned.
Listener supported.